Hi, I'm Sunny Angulo for VidSF, and today we're at the San Francisco Film Center in San Francisco's Presidio. I'm joined with Rachel Rosen, the Director of Programming for the San Francisco Film Society, and we're here to talk about the San Francisco International Film Festival, now in its 53rd year.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
It is. Well, it's the longest running film festival in the Americas, so it's one of the oldest.
Yeah, San Francisco's the best.
It is.
And 2009 was actually probably a record year, I guess, for the festival.
Yeah, we had record attendance.
So what can people expect from this year's festival?
The same as usual, meaning a terrific selection of films from around the world, lots of really great special guests, a few once-in-a-lifetime cinematic experiences, some of which are mixed with a live element, so they really are once in a lifetime.
And so are there any in particular that you're really looking forward to?
Absolutely. All the awardees, I think, are going to be terrific. Walter Salles, who's the Brazilian director, he directed Central Station and Motorcycle Diaries, is getting our directing award. And the film that he's going to be showing at his public performance, I guess I'll call it, is one of those once-in-a-lifetime events, because he's been trying to make a film about on the road for many, many years. And while he's been doing it, he's been making 2 consecutive documentaries. One which was more exploratory, talking to people in San Francisco about the beats and about the film, and one which was a little bit less hopeful when it looked like things weren't going so well.
Plan B.
Exactly. So he's making a special documentary. It's called In Search of On the Road. It's a work in progress, and it may never be seen again. So that's going to be worth seeing. Exactly.
Okay, great. And then you also have an amazing lineup of sort of special awards nights. The Film Society has an awards night where you hand out
Absolutely.
several
So
awards.
Walter Salles is one of those awardees. The fantastic director, the fantastic actor, Robert Duvall, that you mentioned before. I mean, he's been in everything from To Kill a Mockingbird through this new film that we're showing, Get Low, which is by a first-time director. So it's kind of cool that he was willing to work with this first-time director. And the third is the screenwriter, James Schamus, who's a little bit better known as a producer, but he's written screenplays for almost all of Ang Lee's films. That's his main collaborator.
And so before coming, you referenced earlier that you came onto the festival in recent years. And so I was wondering if maybe you could talk a little bit about how different LA is from San Francisco, where you were.
Sure. I think San Francisco has more of an appetite for the unusual. They like to see what's different, what's never going to be seen again.
Right.
And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And so if you had to give like a theme or a mood that you think sort of represents what this year's festival is all about. I mean, I noticed that the opening night film is a very sort of whimsical creation. A lot of the films that this director has actually done in the past have been very, sort of fantastical and sort of imaginative. And is that sort of foreshadowing of things to come for the entire festival?
Well, I can pick out trends, but if the festival is successful, then it doesn't have a theme. Because really the idea of it is to be as diverse as possible. So we really do have, it takes a little bit of work on the part of the audience, because you have to find the film that speaks to you. But we have, American comedies of embarrassment, and we have very complex political documentaries, and basically everything in between. So there's every mood, hopefully, represented. But I mean, it's always great to start off on a fun note. So our opening night film, Micmacs, it's directed by the director of Amelie, if that gives you a sense.
Right, exactly.
And so it's very fun. So I could kind of describe it as a caper movie, but the plot almost doesn't make any difference. It's all about the joy of watching the performers and the set and the camera work.
Excellent. And then can you tell us a little bit about why you chose the Joan Rivers documentary for closing night?
Sure. I mean, mostly just because I think it's a terrific film. It's called Joan Rivers, A Piece of Work. It's really amazing how part of Joan Rivers' performance is to be revealing of herself, but even given that, it's really remarkable how revealing this documentary is about her. And I also like it because it's People, I think, have an idea about Joan Rivers, and if it was formed recently, it might not encompass the fact that she's actually a very pioneering female comedian who was very successful when few females were doing what she was doing. So even if it doesn't completely change your opinion of Joan Rivers, it will probably broaden what you think about her. And the fact that she's going to be there in person really is the icing on the cake. Although I will admit, I'm a little bit nervous about doing the onstage Q&A with her, because this is clearly a woman who speaks her mind.
So do you have any tips for people on how to best enjoy the festival, or?
Gosh, well, I would say one thing to do is to check out something from our live and on stage section. And that's a section that I kind of talked about before, that most of them have a filmic element, but they all have some sort of live performance element. So it might be Stephen Merritt from Magnetic Fields doing a live original score to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or the wonderful filmmaker Walter Murch giving our State of Cinema address. Or we have this great local tradition in San Francisco, the Porchlight Storytelling Series, and they're going to bring that to the festival. So we're going to have international filmmakers, festival guests, telling live nonfiction stories about filmmaking. So if you want to hear some backstage anecdotes, some really good ones, that would be the thing to come see.
Excellent. So, well, I guess maybe in conclusion, is there anything else that you think people should be aware of about the festival, or things that you're really looking forward to? And
well, I guess I always worry that there are people in San Francisco who think that the festival isn't for them, meaning, that it might be for professionals, or that it would be hard to come to, or somehow have a degree of difficulty that they don't want to deal with. And for me, if you just try one thing, I think you'll find that the experience of coming and the excitement of what's going on in the theaters and seeing a lot of the filmmakers there to answer questions is just a really fun experience. So.
Right, and supporting something like the San Francisco International Film Festival, like, how important is it to actually support these festivals when they come to town?
Yeah, well, it's a way of supporting these films, and if we don't just want to see the same film over and over again in a slightly different version, then, we need to support the filmmakers who have these visions to do something completely different.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Rachel.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, this has been Sunny Angulo and Rachel Rosen for VidSF, and we'll see you guys at the cinema.